Dead. Manual override. Please select target. Input confirmed. Targeting parameters accepted.
Code. We're showing us as target locked. This is an NRC friendly coming in.
All is good down here. Possible malfunction at your end? Fire now!
Firing!
Dead system engaging target. Firing.
Shit! Get down!
Alright, welcome back everybody to the latest episode 5 of Overhype Done Right. My name is Nick, and I am here with a couple of people. I've got Binary Artist, Nick Oliva. How are you doing today, man?
I'm great.
Give a connection, a bond, if you will.
Maybe because we live 10 minutes away from each other.
That may have something to do with it. I've also got Cody Smith. You're a video game player, right? You do that?
You could say that.
You played a couple, right?
Yeah, just a couple.
That's good. That's good. I've got Ronan Fox. He does a podcast of his own, don't you, man?
How's it going, guys? Is all well today?
Yeah, man. How about you?
I'm good. It's Friday night where I am. I'm in Ireland, if you can't tell by the accent, so I'm just chilling out, having a few beers, getting busy with that Bloodborne DLC. It's kicking my ass, to be honest.
You see the guy who did it with his bare hands, right? There's a guy. He went in with his bare hands and beat, like, the first boss, like, no weapon.
I actually seen it, and it's crazy. Some of these guys, the big thing in Dark Souls was some guy completed that game with, was it the Guitar Hero guitar?
Yeah,
the peripheral?
I did see that. That was
What the
pretty
hell
crazy.
is that?
That guy's a man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when you know you've made it in life, is when you beat Dark Souls with a guitar. It's crazy.
So what have you guys been up to, man? What like you said you're playing some Bloodborne. Nick, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? I've been playing a little bit of Just Cause. I also played Ori. I tried that out.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it, though.
That's not bad. That's not bad. What about you, Cody, man? What have you been up to?
Counter-Strike. Lots of Counter-Strike.
Yeah,
a little more Counter-Strike.
Too much Counter-Strike.
And what else have I really played? Fallout 4.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of like a prerequisite if you play video games, right?
Have to play, yeah, pretty much. But mostly just Counter-Strike.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you had some stuff you want to talk about a little bit later, didn't you?
Oh,
Yeah, fun stuff. You know it's fun when he talks like that. But no, we've got a couple of things we want to talk about this week. No new real big games came out, so instead of doing our normal Overhype Done Right, where we talk about like, hey, is this game worth it or not, we're gonna sit down and we're just gonna talk about all the stuff that's come out and the news and stuff. So should be pretty fun, right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so I think the first thing I want to get started on, I know, Ronan, you said you don't have any experience on it. Cody, I'm not sure if you've had a chance to play it. Nick, I know you have. It's Overwatch, right?
I have played Overwatch.
Yeah. So
Some
Overwatch,
good stuff right there.
Yeah, man, they're knocking it out of the park with this thing. They are giving the DLC maps and characters for free.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
For how long?
It's a game now, though, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, you got to buy the game, but the DLC, right? That's going to be free. It's going to be, you're just going to log in one day, I guess, on Tuesday, because that's how Blizzard does things, and it will be there. New characters, new maps. Now,
So is this like that Team Fortress game, the first-person shooter? Is that the one that I'm thinking of?
Yeah, it's similar to.
yeah, it's a
style game.
hero shooter, I think is what they call them.
Yeah.
Okay,
like-
so my problem here is it comes across as a game that should be possibly free to play and just kind of get players in. Does it come across as a kind of a free to play game? Team Fortress is great, you can buy characters, but it's also free to play. What am I getting differently with Overwatch?
Well, first of all, you're getting a huge selection of characters. I mean, the fact that they're balancing these guys is first of all, that's just mind blowing. Like they've got like what is it, like 5 of each, like support, tank.
Right now they do.
Yeah, right now it's just
Let's
5.
be
of each
fair,
show.
though.
They're
It
going to have
is
more.
Blizzard balancing.
Yeah.
Well, they do okay. Like, well, right now WoW's a little off. I'll give you that. But I mean, you got to say Heroes is kind of on point right now. So is Hearthstone.
Heroes is not bad. Hearthstone's not bad. WoW, they never could get right.
And I think they're trying to fix that with the new expansion. They're talking about how they're going to change PvP completely. They're tearing it apart from PvE. So I'm looking forward to that. It should be fun. But
I'll definitely check it out, 100%.
definitely.
Is that the beta just dropped? Is that why you guys have been playing it?
Yeah, they had a stress test weekend a few weeks ago. Nick and myself. Cody, how did you get in? Were you just doing the normal beta?
Yeah, I was in the normal beta, but my beta key's done with now.
Yeah, they pulled it from everybody, so they're trying to like maintain their hype by pulling the beta, and it's gone for like a month, which is not like Blizzard. Usually Blizzard, they throw out a beta, and it's there until the game releases. Here, they're not doing that.
Well,
And
the
how
beta's
did the
still up,
stress
just
get-
nobody can access it.
What's that?
The beta's still live, but nobody can get on it. Nobody has access to it.
Fair enough. That's a good
Yeah,
point.
I saw an article about that where everything is still up. They're just,
Okay.
I don't know how they're going to do it though.
Yeah, I guess we'll see, right? But no, it's definitely worth a try if you haven't seen any gameplay or had the chance to jump in there. I feel like when they come back, they're going to come back hard with a giant set of beta invites, just like flooding it all. So hopefully it'll look good. I know it's fun, so I can't wait for it to come back with some new maps, maybe some new characters.
PC, PlayStation, Xbox. What's it on?
That's right, PC, PlayStation, and Xbox.
All.
Mac is a no-go though. They said no to Mac.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting, right?
Not too sad about that.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. But Nick, you had something you wanted to talk about. There's an old game that's going to be new again, right?
Oh man, anybody has played this. Turok. Yeah.
I've touched on Turok, all right.
They're remaking Turok.
Now,
The original.
It's not a remake, right? It's a remaster. So they're just
A remaster, right.
They're releasing the same game again, but they're making it prettier, a little bit prettier.
So it's like
Making it
Kingdom
pretty-
Hearts or whatever.
Right, exactly. Now, does anybody remember the cheat code? Because I do.
God, I don't even remember that. No.
Beware, oblivion is at hand. Got you everything.
Oh,
You have to run
that
around
sounds
with
familiar now.
the cerebral bore and tear out
It was
dinosaur brains.
nuts.
Yeah.
But now there's a contender now. We have Ark.
Now, here's the thing, guys. Do you know who owns Turok?
I
Not a
don't.
clue.
There's a giant parent company that if you follow the chain up, it's Disney.
Really?
Well, not
Disney
originally,
owns
it
the
wasn't.
world.
No, originally it was not Disney. What happened was the company who put it out, they filed for bankruptcy, and all their IPs went up for sale to make the I guess where they had the financial hardship. They had to sell this stuff to try and pay their debt. Disney bought Turok, and they wanted a gory version, but they ended up getting something completely different. I think it was 2003, 2004 when it came out again. Didn't do too well, but right now we're getting the original Turok just
yeah, I remember
remastered.
that.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but
That game was awesome, though.
it was.
That game was awesome.
Yeah.
How much are they going to charge for it is my question.
Well, that's another thing. So PlayStation is getting ready to put out the PlayStation 2 games. How much would you pay to play a PlayStation 2 game?
It really depends on the game, but I'd say around 15-ish, maybe.
Okay.
If I get to own it.
Yeah, you get
I
to
think
own it.
15 is pushing it.
If I was just renting it, no. But I'd probably like $15, depending on the game. Maybe a
Depending
little
on the
bit more
game, I
for,
think. Yeah, you
like
Ronan,
Final Fantasy type games. or
Ronan, you were
something.
saying no to 15. What is there any game that would meet that 15 for you? Final Fantasy 7, 8, so on and so forth.
Exactly. The likes of Final Fantasy VII, you know that it's got that nostalgic feeling that brings back when you buy that game. But other games, for me, I don't go back and play a lot of PS2 games. Even though I have a PS2 sitting in my house, I don't go back and throw in the games every so often. And I seem to kind of go with the times. And I've got a PS4, I've got a PS3 now. Take for granted, I still use the PS3 religiously, especially for the likes of Dark Souls 2. But I just think going back further, even the likes, if you go back further again to the likes of Nintendo, Sega, like I'll bring them out every so often. But for me, if a game was maybe 10 quid, I might just say I want to buy it to support the developers, even if I'm not going to touch that game. It's the same that I do on Steam. I buy games because they're cheap. And yeah, that's kind of just where I'm coming from on that.
Okay, yeah, I mean, Nick, what old game would you pay 15 for? Now,
Like-
keep Final Fantasy out. You've already established that. Give me something else.
Yeah.
Gosh. Yeah, you're taking me back a few years here.
Digging in that old man brain, huh?
Yeah. You know what? I don't even know.
All right. What about Cody? You got a game that on the top of your head that you?
For the PS2?
Yeah, back in those days.
PS2 game that I would go. Okay, I got one. It's a weird game though. I would go back and play what was it, Tokyo Extreme Racer.
Okay.
Not too many people played it, but that game was nuts. It was probably one of the best racing games that I've ever played.
I
It
can dig
was that was a really good game for me, and PS2 games. Like
I feel like
nothing even
anytime-
comes to my mind.
I feel like
for
Square
PS2.
Enix is the thing that comes to
Yeah.
mind. Like every
Yeah,
Kingdom
exactly.
Hearts, Final Fantasy, and down that line.
I'm trying,
You're gonna get your
even
money's
was-
worth. Oh,
What else
exactly.
was big for PS2 though? Like
Ah, man.
Like,
PS2 was
I
a
would say
beast.
that most of the PlayStation 2 games I wouldn't pay $15 for.
Yeah, I'll give you
Yeah.
that. I'd like to see them around the $9.99, $4.99, around
Yeah,
that
10
range.
A
quid
full-on
would do me.
RPG like Final Fantasy, yeah, it's an easy choice.
Okay. All right.
Like here's just another few I'll throw at you, and it'll kind of jog your memory. Like you got Shadow of the Colossus, you got Grand Theft Auto 3, you've got Vice City, San Andreas. I know they're actually after dropping on the store because I seen them lately, and I was actually going to pick up San Andreas the other day just because it's such an iconic game, and it was a game that I loved when it was released, and it was just, I know Vice City was before it and that was great, but there was just something about San Andreas that just rocked the world of gaming.
I keep hearing about San Andreas, but it wasn't that impressive to me personally. So I'm trying to figure out what it is about that game.
I'll tell you exactly why I felt a connection with that game is I grew up listening to gangster rap, the likes of NWA, the likes of Dre, the likes of I'm trying to just jog a few gangster rappers here, but I kind of grew up in that era of watching Boys in the Hood, watching all these films that was about kind of black hood kids trying to get through the struggle and make it big, and that's what that game was about, and I think it hit the nail on the head with what it was trying to do. And the fact that you kind of have these relationships that go on in the game and they turn their back on you, and I don't know, it blew me away more than any other game, more than even GTA 5. But I'm just naming out games here. You have Final Fantasy X, you have Ico or Eco or whatever way.
I'm gonna jump in here. I'm gonna jump in here with one. I just saw it literally, I don't know, 30 minutes ago. Parappa the Rappa 2. They're releasing that this weekend.
I don't know about that.
still wouldn't pay $15 for it.
No, not for that.
Not at all. Not for that.
There was a lot of hype around that game too. That was a popular game.
I only had the demo, the like Pizza Hut disc demo. I had that.
I have that.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'd probably go with Silent Hill 2, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
That was
Silent Hills were on there. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Iconic.
Yeah.
I don't know if I still don't know if I'd pay 15.
Yeah, I'm the
Silent
same.
Hill.
I think €10 would be a nice sweet spot where it's not going to do too much damage to your wallet, but it's there if you ever want to just go back and get that nostalgia. And let's be honest, like it feels like it's years ago that we had it, but like these are in our generation. I mean, if we look back further, we've got Nintendo, we've got Sega, and they're back in where you're actually going to get that nostalgic feeling. And it's strange that I look back on PS2 now and feel that way, but like there's so many games on the PS2. I mean, you have Half-Life, the original Half-Life came to PS2 for the first time. Devil May Cry, the original. Like there's so many iconic games on that. Manhunt. Do you know what I mean? Just Cause, you just said it, that you're playing Just Cause 3, and Just Cause the original came out in that game. So it's a great system to bring back, but I think €10 or even do a certain bundle where you get this developer's game.
Kind of like the Rare Replay.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
like Rare
Exactly
Replay.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. But speaking of remakes, there's another one I'm going to jump around here on the show notes. KOTOR. You guys see that? Phil Spencer himself kind of tweeted out to some people, said that he wanted a KOTOR remake, and EA responded and said, let me check and we'll figure this out. So we might be getting a Knights of the Old Republic remake. That would be something.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean, seeing as we got, Battlefront? That was the last thing we got, and it's kind of...
Yeah.
It didn't give you the Star Wars. What did you think of it? Did you play it, Cody?
I did play it. My issue with those games is more the fact that it's on the Origin, like little gaming base, which is really annoying. But
that stuff's got better though over the years, has it not? I mean, Origin was an absolute disaster.
It was
I think
trash in the beginning, and it's
I think
still
they've got
pretty
better as the
bad.
years gone by. And like, let's remember, Steam was just as bad. Steam was terrible when it first came out.
True, but Steam was like the first one to do it. And then like look at Uplay. Uplay is actually pretty good. I don't mind Uplay. Like
Uplay's okay.
You get points for doing achievements, and you get all this like it's like, hey, you get a gun skin if I do this achievement. Cool beans. Like that's
Very true.
Like that was really cool.
I use Cool Beans also, so that's Cool Beans. That's strange.
I think you're the first person that's ever said Uplay was actually good.
I like Uplay. I really
Yeah, it
like
doesn't bother me at all.
No, it doesn't
no, I'm
bother me
not
either,
gonna
but there's a
lie.
lot of complaints about it.
Now Ubisoft does have very bad networking issues with most of their games, but Uplay as far as the just using the little interface and everything, it's not that bad. I don't mind it at all. But the game itself, Battlefront, it's good. But if you take Star Wars away from it, it's like an average, just kind of meh game.
I'm gonna jump in here because it looks like somebody's saying that the reason that you may not like it is because it doesn't have ponies.
That's lazy core. That is lazy core. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, no, I agree. We had to talk about that a couple of weeks ago. We pretty much came to the same thing. It's a fun thing, but you take the Star Wars out of that fun thing, and it just becomes a thing. So
yeah, it's not like I wouldn't pay $60 for it.
That's
again.
Right.
Like,
I wouldn't pay 60 either.
Yeah.
Like so.
I'm the exact same.
It's a good game if you like Star Wars. It's cool. It's fun. It kind of gets you ready for the movie, I guess. But
Does it,
past
though?
that. A little bit. I mean, it gets you in the mood.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
It gets you in the mood.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
It's your movie foreplay.
Yeah. So,
There you go.
but all around, not a terrible game.
Right, and like I said, KOTOR was the Star Wars game back then. That was it had a great story. It had all that. So hopefully, maybe we get something along. Maybe KOTOR 3. I'd be down with that. But
Yeah, definitely.
so, what else we got? Paragon. Did anybody see this? Anybody know what this is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
idea.
No idea. I got a
Definitely a Battleborn.
Yeah, it's like Battleborn, basically.
So right, yeah. So here's the thing, and a lot of I can't remember where I heard this. Somebody was talking about this on a podcast recently. How all these games are kind of coming out right now that are very, very similar, and it's a cross between your first-person shooter and your MOBA.
Yep.
And everybody's trying to go down that path. You've got Battleborn, you've got Overwatch, you've got Paragon, and there's like 2 or 3 more that are coming out that are exactly in that. And apparently it was all super coincidence. They all saw this hole in the industry that they wanted to fill, and they jumped in there. Now, Paragon they're straight up calling it a MOBA, a third-person shooter MOBA. So I'm interested to see how that goes because it's going to be on console. Do we have any other MOBAs on console?
No, not that I can
No,
think of anyone.
Not that I know of.
So, I mean, we didn't get Dota didn't come to it, did it?
No.
No. So, yeah, I mean, this is going to be
I
interesting.
play LOL as well, so that definitely didn't come to console. And if there was one on console, I'd definitely hit it up, 100%.
Yeah, and that's what I'm interested to see how this is going to go down because we had, and I say we as the more dedicated gamers, we had the PC gaming world. We had World of Warcraft, and we loved it, Then the average Joe wanted something similar, and they got Destiny, right? And people are freaking out over it, and it's something that we've had for 10, 11 years. We've had that MMO experience for 10, 11 years. We've had the MOBA for very long time, and now the general population, your general gamer, is going to get to see that. And I think that's kind of cool to see how they're going to receive it.
No. I like the idea of crossing a first-person shooter and a MOBA together, but having, I don't know, it's going to be hard to balance something like that, in my opinion.
Oh, maybe not.
From
I
what
mean,
I
like-
was seeing with Paragon, it was I only saw about 4 different ones because it's kind of closer to Team Fortress in that aspect. But it, like I said, they're going more for the MOBA aspect of it than they are, I think, the shooter aspect.
Like, tell me
I think-
what what are you talking about when you say the MOBA aspect? Are you talking about like taking down towers? Are you talking about getting
Towers,
to the other guy's
lanes,
nexus?
Towers, lanes, and a set of skills where it's not necessarily like I'm just gonna run and I can keep doing things. It's kind of where things are on a cooldown. As
God, I
opposed
think that could really, really hit home, especially the fact that if it's free to play on a console, people are going to try it regardless if it's free to play. Now, I've played a lot of the free to play games on the PlayStation 4, and they're okay. You've got PlanetSide, you've got that game that's like Team Fortress called Loaded or something, where you get all the guns. And none of them are great. Like you'll have a go at them, and then you'll put them down. But I think a MOBA that's first person, that's accessible enough. Like, I mean, the MOBAs on PC are not accessible. They take a steep learning curve. Now, in fairness, they do a lot of good when they come to the tutorial. But I think something like that on a console-based system could be an absolute killer.
I agree. I mean, when I jumped into my first MOBA, it was Heroes. And then it was cool. It's a lot easier than I would say League of Legends. I tried to jump into there, and aside from the community that was not very receiving, put it that way, it was a little bit deeper of a MOBA. So I think if they keep it closer to that Heroes of the Storm, where it's a very linear, you don't have to worry about gear upgrades necessarily, and your team kind of advances as one. I think it would be a huge success. Nick, what were you were saying something? What do you think?
Well, it'll certainly have a price tag on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as the balancing issues, I don't think it'll be that difficult to balance because they'll still follow the standard MOBA rules, right? And the MOBA balancing strategy.
Right.
The only thing that's different is you're moving the character yourself in a first-person format versus top-down.
But what I was looking at was like you had a gun and you could shoot the gun. So if I'm able to shoot the gun, like say for instance, all right, you give me a machine gun, you have spells, which your spells are on a cooldown. I'm able to shoot a gun. I have special abilities that make it to where I can do more damage with my gun, or so I can put up a shield or something. But being able to just like smash creeps and then just like land like nutty shots and stuff like that will be kind of hard to balance with like the spellcasters and stuff too.
Yeah, it's a huge undertaking, but I think it's going to pay off in the long term, as like you said, just a really interesting game. It's a good time to be a geek. We're getting all these weird hybrids out there, or just new things that are just like, is that going to even work? And then it turns out that it does. So,
we played the Battleborn beta. It was pretty good. I mean, no, we didn't. We didn't do that. That's right. We didn't do that. We weren't allowed to do it. Anyway, we didn't play the Battleborn beta.
I guess I should preface that with Nick is a terrible liar. You lie so much. We didn't. They haven't had a beta, so we didn't play anything, did we?
No, I guess we didn't. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I believe you.
Yeah, good.
Anyway, while we weren't playing that game,
you can't do this. They said so. I'm
just going to shove about that now.
Yeah, let's leave that alone. Let's go on to the next thing. Let's get out of MOBAs. Let's throw a little bit of Destiny. Is anybody in Destiny? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nah, not myself.
Womp womp.
I gave them 2 chances. And
we
failed
did.
Both
We
times.
gave them 2 chances. No, I'm not gonna say it failed. You can't say that. They do something well. It's just not something we enjoy. Okay.
I have done full circle with that game, put it down, and then did another full circle, and now it's down again. But I have done so many hours in that game that it's actually sin. And I like my competitive games. I like my complicated games, and Destiny is nothing like that. It's junk food gaming. It's easy to play.
There you go. That's right.
It's the type of game when you wake up when you're hungover and you don't want your brain to do too much. So you stick on some Destiny, you shoot some things, you get a better gun, and you shoot some more things. And that's the way it is. And it's the exact same way that the likes of Diablo 3 is. I'm actually rocking some Diablo 3 now at the moment, and it's giving me that same itch for loot as Destiny was, maybe even better.
Now, see, I think there was a talk about this on one of my Blizzard podcasts, that the team from Destiny, like after it initially launched and it kind of went, and no one liked it. Well, they liked it, but they were like, we want more out of it. The team from Destiny because they're part of Activision, which is in fact a part of Blizzard.
Fun.
They got together and they went and talked to the people from Diablo. So the reason it's kind of scratching that Diablo itch is because they took direct correlation from that. This is Diablo stuff you're seeing in that game. So yeah, it's definitely down that vein. And like you said, it's not a bad thing. You know, it's definitely a place in your gaming library.
A game
if you
that I
want something
spend
like that.
60 quid on and can actually get the same amount of hours, if not more. I think I've actually put more. I think I've put close to 100 hours into that game. I can't think of another game that I've done that with.
And like
Do
you
you know
said,
what I mean?
it's just something you sit there and you're just kind of like, you're dicking around with your friends. You're having a good time.
Exactly.
You're just
And it's
shooting
all
some stuff.
about just getting in with a party, talking some garbage with your friends, having a bit of fun, taking down a boss, getting a better weapon, and that's it. Like, and that's where it stops, sadly.
Yeah, no, exactly. Now, here's the thing. I guess this is the news for Destiny this week. They introduced, I don't know if I heard it was for a short time, Sparrow Racing. Sparrows are their, like, the land speeders they have in that game. They introduced a racing aspect, which kind of took me by surprise. I didn't expect that. So,
I felt like it should have been there from the start.
yeah?
I
Yeah,
want them to
honestly.
do something with the actual ships.
Yeah, I could see
That'd be
some
nice.
space battles. That'd be pretty rad. Now,
Anything with the ships, because you can't do anything with them now.
you know they're going to have another one. It's going to happen. It's been a huge success. There's going to be a Destiny 2.
I'm sure they will.
100%.
So, and hopefully we'll see some stuff like that. Maybe, garrison style things, but instead of it being one person, we'll have like, you get your what do they call it? Their clan in that game?
Yeah.
You get your clan
See, I
together and you
think
build base.
I think why people are sore on Destiny is because the promotion of that game was a whole heap of lies. I mean, you had the whole thing about this spaceship, and people thought that you could just fly from planet to planet, much like No Man's Sky is going to do. Like, a lot of people thought that No Man's Sky was going to be the way Destiny was, like it was meant to be, because Destiny was, every time we seen it at E3, it's this massive world and you can fly to here, fly to there, but it wasn't the case. And a lot of the marketing for that game was lies, and that's why I think people are sore on the game.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree on that.
Yeah.
I'll say they missed one last thing on this before we move to the next one, because we got
Yeah.
three big topics we want to cover next. They missed out on a great opportunity in my mind. I think it would have been so cool. You could have had different gravity on different planets. That would have been something.
That would have been
truly
Something very
epic.
small, but yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty unique, because I don't know of any other game that does that.
Exactly. You would have had to learn the physics for each of your planets.
That's
That would-
cool.
Yeah.
That would be insane.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So
So
that would be cool.
we're going to move on to the next thing. I think, Cody, you had something you're kind of angry about, right? A little not happy,
A little bit.
nerd rage going on. It has to do with Counter-Strike Go, am I right?
That's
This has
correct.
got to be the new revolver.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right,
So-
go ahead and lay it on us.
Now luckily, Valve did release a post saying, "Hey, we messed up. It's too overpowered, so let's nerf it a little bit." But so my issue with Counter-Strike right now is that they changed the spray pattern on guns. So, like, spraying is worse now, but it also made tapping worse with guns. So they just nerfed rifles, then nerfed pistols, and then we're like, and we're gonna throw this really awesome pistol in the game. So pretty much all you did was run around and use that awesome pistol for like 3 or 4 days. That's all people did.
It's basically an op.
Yeah, it's an $850 op that was initially bugged. You could join a server with the Deagle equipped and then switch it out and then get the gun for $700, which was really dumb. Then you could right-click shoot it in freeze time and spawn. You could right-click shoot it while you're defusing, which you cannot shoot a gun while defusing the bomb with in any other gun. Just that gun was bugged. Then you could throw a smoke and you could alt-tab and then tab back in the game and you could see straight through a smoke. Like,
Sounds
there
like
needs
was
to
some
be
big glitches
a
here.
test server for Counter-Strike. Dota has one. All these other things have it.
Yeah.
Or if you're not going to do a test server, make it to where you can only use the gun in casual or something like that, so that people can get accustomed to using the gun. That way you can see how overpowered something is.
think
I don't
it's
know.
A great idea.
You assume that that wasn't part of their plan to troll everybody.
Oh,
That's exactly what that is.
It's been the same thing every time, though. The CZ, the M4A1S, like, every time they were overpowered at first. I mean, the CZ being one of the biggest examples of that, was overpowered at the start, had to get nerfed. It took like 3 or 4 months to get the thing fixed. And like the community's tired of dealing with that, and that's why, as far as Face It Pro League and all the pros, all those guys, they're not even using the gun. And then for a lot of pugs, like even just like casual pugs that you join with other people, you would see people saying like, "Hey, like, can we just not R8 this game? Like, you guys cool with that gentleman's agreement to not R8?" And people would actually not use the R8. And the Counter-Strike community is not the most reliable, nice community by any means, but
No.
It's up there with League.
No.
but at the same time, people were actually
That's
like
terrible.
agreeing to do that because the gun was so stupidly broken. The actual tournament that's going on right now, they went back to the old patch, and they were like, "This is dumb. We're not doing this. We're going back to the old patch, and that's what we're going to play this tournament as." Because this, number one, why release a patch just before a major when it's off season right now, anyways? And number two, test it. It's like they brought their It's like someone brought their kid to work and was like, "Hey, make a really cool gun design and we're going to put it in the game." And he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to make this revolver that does massive amounts of damage."
Now, we got a guy in the chat right now. He's saying an HL3 leak. What do you know about that? Somebody
Half-Life 3? You haven't seen this?
I haven't seen this. Has anybody?
So, Steam DB, which is like a database for all like the Steam everything's, like statistics and all that. Apparently, they have the packages of like the different games they're going to be offering on there and whatnot. Apparently, Half-Life 3 was one of them. Not like offering to sell, but maybe something going to sell in the future, something way down the line.
So, Cody, you think that this guy is saying that he is saying, and we have inside information right now, that he did this. Or that they did this to cover up that. They're trying to pull away. So they put a shitty gun in the game in order to distract people from Half-Life 3.
This is so stupid.
There's no way.
It's
that
inside
Valve
information.
made that.
He says it. It's inside information. The internet said it.
Because
It's just a series of Valve trolls.
yeah, well, it's just silly that they're doing like they're taking a game that is supposed to be perfectly balanced and just dropping something in it like, "Hey, figure it out, guys. Tell me if this is good or not."
No,
Like,
I'll agree 100%, right?
you need to test things like that. You need to talk to pro players and then look at your average community and, kind of test it with both, because without the pro scene, Counter-Strike's not what it is right now. The only reason Counter-Strike is as big as it is because of the pro scene, Twitch, stuff like that is what blows Counter-Strike up. Without the pro scene, Counter-Strike would be just like it was back in like 1999, 2000. Like when it was just like, not even a huge community. We were all just kind of kicking it, playing Counter-Strike, which was a mod for Half-Life at the time.
They definitely need a better method or solution for the hacking in that game.
Well, I think Cody was onto something. I think a PTR, you see, like he said, you see this in almost every other game. WoW has one. You know, there's no excuse to not have a PTR that you opt into and just see what's going on and help them test it so that when it does hit, it hits smoothly.
Yeah, and I mean, you can test it with, you can have the pros in there, but then you can also have like just random people that you want to invite, or you can invite low-ranked people and mid-ranked people and pros, and just kind of like just to get a feel for how the gun is. But you need to look at it on every aspect, because the gun might not be the worst part about that gun was that it made it to where pros were like losing aim battles to other people just because they could just spam right click and kill you with one bullet. It was a one shot kill.
I still think that was done on
armor.
purpose, though. I mean, something that powerful
But there should never be something like that in the game.
no, never at all.
It's
That
Counter-Strike.
doesn't make any
It's a
sense.
skill-based game. It's always been a skill-based game. You can't run and spray and jump in. I mean, occasionally it
You
happens.
can. You just get very lucky when you do it.
Yeah.
And then you're called a hacker.
And they need to do something about cheating. They also need to do something about servers in Counter-Strike. 64 tick. Why are we using 64 tick servers? We could use 128 tick servers. It wouldn't cost Valve like $1 more to upgrade all their servers. And all the money they make off of cases and stuff like that. There's no way. And then another thing that really irked me was when they released the revolver, they released a case, which everyone knows about skins in Counter-Strike. They didn't remove the CZ when it first came out. They said the reason they couldn't remove it was because skins were out. Because people had already purchased skins for that gun, so they couldn't remove it. you've already made that mistake once. Why are you going to release the gun and the skins in the same patch and then be like, can't remove it, boys? They got skins for it. Like, that's just silly.
I think it's the Illuminati. I think it's confirmed.
It's just the way they went about everything was just foolish. And
Now what they need to do is just make it the weakest gun in the game. That way, we get to keep the gun. It's just not as powerful now.
yeah, well, I mean,
The nerfs the revolver. That's what you're gonna hear.
Oh well, it's been nerfed and it still needs some more tweaking. But luckily they did come in and nerf it. They didn't wait like 3 months like they did with the CZ. So the gun was stupidly broken for 3 months, and then they finally
they
fixed
can never
it.
get away. They can never get away with that revolver for 3 months.
I think this is precedent with almost every game, though, right? You get something in Warcraft, it was the Death Knight. You threw them out there, and it was completely overpowered and ridiculous. And they do it to drive the hype up for this thing, right?
Right.
And eventually they come back, and once the hype has died down, they pull it back a little bit and make it fit right in line. But yeah, you're right. They should have. It's sounding like it was. I can get something being overpowered. That makes sense. That happens. It shouldn't, but it does. The thing that makes no sense is your glitches you're talking about. Your alt tabbing. You're
that
being
was
able to
stupid.
shoot while doing that.
It's like they didn't test anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not testing something is, especially in a game where Counter-Strike, where it matters. Like you're playing ESEA or you're playing Face It Pro League, or you're doing these things, and your rank actually matters in certain cases. So, like Face It, you get Face It points, and getting those Face It points, you can get skins, or you could. I mean, honestly, if you save up enough, you could get a little Fiat if you really wanted one. But you can get skins, or in ESEA, it looks your ranking. So, like, if you play really well, like other teams are going to look at you and stuff like that. And even inside the matchmaking of the game, you have a certain rank, So having a rank system where a game is based around competitive ranked play, you need to test things before you put them in the game. Like if Death Knights, for instance, in WoW, when they could be super overpowered, but just before their arena season starts, you nerf them down and make them on par, just so that there's hype for for Death Knights. Mm-hmm. But in Counter-Strike, it's competitive gameplay day in, day out. You don't really, it's not like Source was, where you jumped into servers and kind of just played and stuff like that, or competed to be the best in one server or whatever. It's competitive play almost all the time now.
I feel the same thing happens in LoL as well. And the thing that LoL has that Counter-Strike doesn't is LoL, the heroes actually get banned from the tournaments. So if there's an OP hero, he will not be allowed used. If you're playing a ranked match, you can decide to vote a hero out, and you usually go for the one that's OP. So I know you don't have that in Counter-Strike, but it does happen in absolutely every online competitive multiplayer game. Mm-hmm. The whole nerfing system, the whole OP system, it happens every game you will come across. There's always a season that this guy is more powerful, that guy is more powerful, and that's the difficulty with balancing games. It is a difficult task, but like I feel your pain. It happened to me in LoL where you're trying to fight this guy, you know he's OP, and he kicks your ass, and it's just like, well, why am I even playing this game if I know I can't win and it's just been unfair? So I feel your pain.
Yeah.
No, the ban system does help against that in like games like that. It's just in Counter-Strike it was a little bit more rough. I guess I don't know. I guess the community's a little salty because we had Counter-Strike 1.6 was a competitive game from like 99 till whenever, and the game never changed. There was there was patches, but like after 1.6 patch, there was nothing else, and the game still changed because people developed different ways to play.
Cool.
Like you
instead of releasing new guns or new whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I think what's going to happen is you're going to have the meta even out eventually. Once the gun is patched, the meta will even out, and it'll become just a run of the mill. Somebody will use it in their arsenal. But I guess we'll have to wait and we'll see how that goes. But let's move on to one more thing before we get into the big meat and potatoes thingy. I want to talk about this real quick. I played a game. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's what Mario is nowadays. It's Ori and the Blind Forest. This game was $20 on Xbox One, and it is worth twice that. It's an amazing game. You need to play it. It's great. Nick, you played it, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's worth twice what it's being sold at, though. It's a good game. Don't get me wrong.
You don't find heart in games. You're more about the mechanics. This game, it had, in my opinion, the perfect balance of heart and mechanics. Whereas you just want
Amazing.
Yeah, this game it's Zelda meets like Mario meets like Rayman or something. It's great. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, it looks great.
The story was
decent.
really good. I liked the story, and the art was like banging. The art was banging.
top notch.
Now, where did you guys play? Cody, where did you play?
On Steam, just
Steam.
like,
Okay, Nick, you played it.
Yeah, I'm PC as well.
Everybody played it on PC. Okay, I
I'm
played
a
it on the
PlayStation
one.
owner, so it's a PlayStation and PC, so I went for PC. Amazing game, I have to say. Like I'm right there with you. I would have paid double for that game. I really would have. I thought the mechanics were amazing, difficult as hell.
Yes.
And that's what I thought made the game even better. When you got by a part, you felt like you achieved something. And again, the art was it was the start actually of the beautiful kind of 3D platformers coming through to the new gen. It was that was the when I turned around, I said to myself, holy crap, these games are absolutely gorgeous. Games that you look back on, Mario, one of the greatest games ever created, but not beautiful like Ori is. And Ori, hit every part, hit every spot for me, I have to say.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that it was that difficult of a game. I mean, there were certainly some parts where I wanted to throw my controller through the screen, but I don't think.
But
it
as
was
far as
overly difficult.
platforming is more about timing. Like you're never going to get to a part where mechanics are going to go against you. It's all about timing and getting it right. And there's a part, if I can remember correctly, because it's a while back, but there's a part where is there water rushing towards you, and you have to try and get out of a certain section before the water drowns you. Is that?
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I remember that.
So that I just remember that part being difficult, and
Yeah, that
but
was
I kept wanting to go back and try it again, and
Exactly.
yeah.
I wish the
loved
game
that
was just a little bit longer though.
Well, I'm interested to see because they obviously made bank on this game, and it's a small
they
little
had to.
indie developer. I'm interested to see what's next for them. Hopefully, like, because the game before this, I was looking at it, and it was kind of like some like war game or something, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. So
Unravel is the next game like that for me.
yeah,
Yeah, big time. I'm mad to check that out because it's got the same kind of realistic art style. It's got the same nature, backgrounds, and settings. And Unravel is gonna rock my world as well. It'll all come down to mechanics as well, but it looks the absolute bomb. And I like the developers, really honest guys. I think there's only it's an independent game, and I seen an interview at E3, I believe. They showed a demo of Unravel the first time, and yeah, the developer seemed really honest, had passion for what he was doing, and yeah, I'm looking forward to trying that game out as well.
super interesting concept with that game.
Yeah.
But well, I guess we'll bring that up in another episode. We'll have you on, and we'll talk about that when it comes out. And I think that sounds
Cool.
like a good idea. But let's move on to the giant bomb, the big. We're gonna have people throwing fists and punching people, and it's gonna be bad. But we're gonna talk about Final Fantasy VII and it's coming back, and how it's coming back, and all that good stuff. So Square Enix came out and they put out this trailer, and this trailer was beautiful. And everybody said this trailer is beautiful. Some people didn't like the gameplay, like the actual fighting style that's coming out, but neither here nor there, everybody said it was beautiful. And then they came out and they were like, guys, we're going to do it in episodes. And everybody freaked. Everybody's freaking out and throwing chairs and setting buildings on fire, and dogs are eating each other. It's horrible.
Well, justifiably so. They were taking a single game that you bought for $50, I think it was back then, and now you're going to put over 3 different games.
Okay, well, let's look at it
But-
from that perspective. They
They didn't say the
pause right
pricing
there.
though.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. We could look at
Right.
it this way. Take The Hobbit, one book, split up into 3 films. Why would you pay to see all 3? Because it's been reimagined in a way that hasn't been done before. They're taking this game, and they're not just upscaling it. They're making a new game with the same
But
story.
they didn't say that ahead of time. With the,
You're looking at it.
yeah.
I feel like The Hobbit is a different situation there. I feel like The Hobbit was a money rack. It was trying to get as much money out of that franchise as possible. Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, I'm a huge Hobbit fan, but that was a money racket. With Final Fantasy VII, I think they want to release the start of this game out soon, and I don't think they'll be able to release the full thing as soon as they want to. I don't think the game is going to be 60 quid every episode. I think that would be just ridiculous, and that is not going to happen. It's going to be,
Which is
I
what
would say personally,
I said that to Nick the other day. I was like, $60.
it's
for
not
each
going
of
to
them.
be
It's gonna be
60 bucks.
ridiculous.
You're gonna play up to Midgar, and the way I look at it is that game didn't come in 1 CD. It came in, I believe, 3 or 4.
Yeah, it was 3.
3?
Yeah, the 10 was 4, or not
8
10.
was 4.
8 was 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was 3. So
three
that's the way I
CDs.
possibly think they're going to release it. They're going to release it maybe CD by CD, which makes sense because you know when you get to the end of CD 1 in Final Fantasy 7 that it's the end of a chapter and you move on to the next part. And when you put in that second CD, it's like starting a new game. I don't think it's going to be a 60 quid thing every time an episode comes out. I think it's going to be possibly a 60 quid at the start and you get every episode after that for free. Or it's going to be a €20 gig and they're going to charge you €20 for each episode after that. And I hope to God that it's 3 so it'll add up to 60. That's what I'm thinking anyway.
I think it's good. I think it's a good.
That I would be completely okay with.
Now, here's the thing. They also said, though, that they are adding in stuff that didn't exist in the first game. That there were things that they wanted to put in the first game that technology at that time would not allow.
That's amazing.
They're saying that they're going to open up this world to be bigger than it was in the first one, which is like, what?
Why
Yeah,
release the
that's
game
awesome.
the exact like they're after releasing the game on PS4 store you can get the original Final Fantasy 7 and I actually looked at it and I was itching to buy it but I was like no I'm going to hold out because I want to see what they're after doing to this game that I cherished and loved and take for granted it's not my favorite Final Fantasy. I think 6 is awesome. I'd love to see that thing
6 is way
remastered.
better.
8 is pretty cool as well. 9 I loved, but 7 was that kind of iconic game that blew everyone's minds. The characters were very memorable, and to have that game rehashed the way they're doing it, like I mean, it's never been done before. What they're doing, they're not. There's been no game in the past that has been released totally different than the original version. And I think it's brave from Square Enix. Square Enix have actually rubbed me the wrong way lately with the latest Final Fantasy games. They've not been up to scratch. But I think doing this, and if they do it right, is just going to get me right on board and right on board for Final Fantasy 15 as well.
Now,
Here's what I-
speaking of 15 real quick, did you play it? Have you played the, I can't remember what they're calling it, episode whatever?
No, I haven't played it.
Now it's beautiful, and the fight style from the trailer for 7 is almost a mirror image right there.
Yeah.
So again, I'm with you on that. The ones before 15 were kind of but 15, from what I've played of it, is phenomenal. Nick, you were gonna say some words, weren't you?
Yes, words.
Okay, that's enough from you. No,
yeah.
just kidding.
What I'm hoping, well, I don't think this is going to happen, but what I'm hoping is that they don't add so much content or stuff that it takes away from the original game.
Yeah, from what
Too
you
much.
had.
That it's like, you know what I mean?
Now, what if there's subplots that they wanted to get to? They wanted to make you feel for other characters in there that they didn't really get
Well,
to.
that's fine, but if they add so much content that you almost lose the original story.
Here's the thing with Square Enix, they're not an open world game. They try, but even their open world games feel more linear than other open world games. So I think that, they may deviate from that line every now and again, but as an overall sentiment, everything drives the main story forward for them. And that's one of the things that draws me to them as opposed to somebody like Bethesda. I like Fallout. Excuse me. I like Sky. I'm dying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I like Skyrim.
Come back to us.
Yeah, but I need that story. I need that string to follow to keep me going. I got into Fallout 4 and I played maybe 15 hours and I kind of was just like, because the guy was like, I gotta go find my son, and then there was really nothing else to be had with that, and I was like, all right, I'm done.
In all fairness, Final Fantasy didn't get linear until what, 13?
No, they've always been relatively linear, man. They've
It's
had
questionable.
No, they've had options to move out, but even when you moved out, it moved you forward.
I always compare it to the likes of that type of game and to the likes of the way Telltale do a game. It's like they start at one point, you can deviate any way you want to, but you will end at the exact same point.
No matter
and
what
that's
you
the
do,
way.
you're going to the next spot.
Yep.
Exactly. You can find different ways to go through. It's like any RPG game or the likes of The Witcher. Like, you can find different ways to get there. Witcher's probably not a good example because there's so many bloody endings to that thing. But Telltale game, you can have people die. This guy goes this way, that guy goes that way, but you end up at the same area. at the end of the game.
I agree. Yeah, and that's one of the things, like I said, that draws me towards Square as opposed to like a Bethesda game where I start caring about these characters, they develop these characters, and it's not like I have to project myself. They project something to me, and then I attach to that.
I agree with that. I mean, I think releasing this in episodes is totally fine. It's going to give people the access to play the game a lot sooner than they thought they were going to be able to play it. Yeah. And as long as I agree, don't release too much information because you can't drown the classic in all this new stuff. But I am glad that they are releasing some things and changing things because I honestly hate the whole remaster thing. Like, Kingdom Hearts, cool. I liked playing Kingdom Hearts. It was a good game. I really enjoyed it, but I really don't want to pay like $40 to play Kingdom Hearts again.
So don't.
With like slightly better graphics.
My thing about remaster games, and like I'll throw this to you, and you might think differently after I say this, is remaster games are not for the person that played them before. Remasters are for the people that didn't play them. Like, there's a lot of people that are after taking PS4 under their wing that were Xbox owners. And now the likes of The Last of Us are being remastered for PS4, that they will get a chance to play a PS3 exclusive that they never got a chance to play in the past. For me, remasters don't matter to me because I'm not going to pay, like you, I'm not going to pay 40 quid for a game that I've already paid. But they're not for us. They're for people that haven't experienced them games in the past, or for the really hardcore fans that say, well, this is my favorite game. I'm going to give the developer another 40 quid or 60 quid or whatever it may be. And that's just the way I look on Remastered. I thought the exact same way as you. I was like, why are these games coming out again? I have this game in my collection. Don't give me this. Like The Last of Us, why would you buy that game again? It's the story that is good in The Last of Us. It's the characters that are good. It's not the shiny coat of paint that they're going to give you on the PS4 that's going to say, oh wow, this game is totally different than it was before, because it's not.
No. I agree with you. I mean, it is mainly for new people. It's just releasing a game being like, oh, we're going to amp up the graphics and all this stuff, and it really is kind of like, eh.
That's what I did for Kingdom Hearts.
It's a little disheartening, right?
I had the original Kingdom Hearts when it came out. It's great, but I never played any after that. So then when like 1.5 and 2.5 came out, I was like, oh, I'll just go ahead and buy those, and I can just do the whole thing at once right before 3 comes out. So I was like...
Right.
I think that the fatigue from the remasters, and I don't think it's from a standpoint of... the way I see it is it's like, I bought my PlayStation 4, and I'm like, yeah, I got my PlayStation 4, and like for the first like month, I had knack. Like, that's what I had. But, like, I would see these announcements of remasters and be like, ugh. Like, that's all I had to choose from at the time. Like, now I get it. I get what you're saying. I'm saying the same thing. You know, people didn't have these games. But at the beginning, it was just it kind of stunk at the beginning, you know? But now...
The beginning was rocky, I will agree. The beginning, I was looking at my PS4, I was like, I've actually got nothing to play here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Big time.
I got a $400 Netflix box.
But now look at year 2. I've got too much to play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like,
way too many
there's always a
games out
rocky
right
start
now.
at the start of a console launch, but second year is always rocking, and the second year on the PS4 was one of the best years for games that I can remember in a long time.
Yeah, I agree. I think we can wrap it up by saying, I mean, we're all super stoked for Final Fantasy VII and hopefully what it's going to be. I know I'm like super amped for it. I mean, anybody got any final thoughts on Final Fantasy VII?
My mind is open to it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do.
Yeah.
Don't mess it up.
Yeah.
You say that about everything, though.
No. More specifically about this, because people were asking.
Big.
People were asking for a remake, but they weren't asking for what they're doing now. Mm-hmm. So it's very touchy.
I think it'll be fine. I think we gotta have faith.
I'm sure it will. I mean, I feel that they're pretty competent, with the exception of the recent Final Fantasies.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be like remaking GoldenEye. Like, you mess remaking GoldenEye
they
up.
thought about that.
Yeah, that was no way that'll ever happen.
If you mess up GoldenEye, you're going to go bankrupt.
They're in talks right now. Phil Spencer is in talks about it. He put it out on his Twitter like last week. But other than that, like he said, Final Fantasy VII, it's gonna be huge. What is it, Donald Trump? It's gonna be huge. Anyway,
that's a terrible impression.
He's a terrible person, so it's okay. Anyway, we're gonna keep. Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Let's get some plugs out of the way. Cody, you do stuff. Do you want to talk about some stuff you do real quick?
Yeah, I mainly play Counter-Strike, help out people who are, lower ranks and stuff like that, want to kind of learn about the game. I'm not going to like carry you, but I'll show you how to play the game in a different kind of form than you're used to playing. Also have a couple LANs coming up, Chesterfield Technical Center. I'll be there on February 13th. And then if anyone is going to MLG Columbus, I'll be there. So hit me up on Twitter or something and go to one of the after parties or something and hang out.
Where can they follow you? What's your Twitter handle?
It's at Legion_Mapex.
And that's L-E-G...
Legn. So Legn_Mapex. So you can follow me there, and I'll be at that LAN. I'll also be at the one here in Chesterfield in Virginia, and then the Cave just opened in Fairfax, so I'm gonna hit them up, see what kind of stuff they're trying to do.
Maybe we'll do a show from there. I had thought about that, so maybe we'll do that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. And I'm just making those noises because, Nick, do you see what I see? You see what's going on in his name badge? That's a L-E-G. It looks like a M.
Should I
to be an N. We'll round it out real quick.
let me see here.
No, we're fine. We're fine.
Let me pull up the message that you sent.
Maybe. I copied and pasted anyway. We're going to keep going. Ronan, what do you got, man? Where can people follow you?
We do a podcast. We try to do it every week, but you can check us out on our Twitter page at the AlphaCast. I also run a YouTube channel where I do gameplay footages, quick looks, and I also do I play a lot of Bloodborne, so I try to do a couple of videos on tutorials to get newcomers into the Soul series. So check that out at the Alpha Zone YouTube channel. And yeah, just check out our show and drop me a like. And if you want to hit me up, just email me, ronanfox@live.ie. And I just want to say to you guys, I had an awesome time on the show, and it was a pleasure being here. Thanks a million.
Yeah, man, we're gonna have you on again. We're gonna keep doing this collab thing and keep the reach going. But Nick, where can people follow you if they want to follow you?
Sadly, I don't know. No, you can find me on on Twitter at binary_artists, or on Facebook at facebook.com/checkpointaheadpodcast.
There you go. That sounds like a good website. People should probably check that out.
I found a game that I would pay $15 for.
Oh, there it is.
Just
Metal
now.
Gear.
I was going to mention Metal Gear, but
Yeah.
I never actually played
original
the old
Metal Gear. Yeah, I'd pay $15 for it because I like taking my controller out of port number 1 and plugging it in port number 2.
Yeah.
So.
There we go.
Nice.
Anyway, you can if you like what you heard or maybe even what you saw. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, you can follow us on YouTube. We're at Checkpoint Ahead Podcast. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/Checkpoint Ahead Podcast. Just pretty much everywhere at Checkpoint Ahead. We've got lots of shows. We've got Overhype Done Right. We've got And That's Canon. We've got Drinks with Dorks. We've got Podcast the Motion Picture. We've got all sorts of stuff. So if you like what you see, what you hear, give us a sub, give us a like, and until next time, we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Later, guys.
Later, guys.
All right. That was fun, right, guys?